Hey, 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 it's your girl, Pastor Angela. I was going to say Johnson, but I'm actually Angela Smith now. Hey, hey, ain't nothing wrong with doing what you got to do to make it do what it's going to do. And today, I am One Sister to Another podcast. And guess what? I'm Pastor Angela Smith. Happy Mother's Day! It's all about you women. It's all about you. And we're so excited that you decided to spend your Saturday afternoon on your way to the nail shop, on your way home from the beauty shop. Happy Mother's Day. It's your day. And guess what? They say it's Women's Month, or you know how they say globally it's Women's Month and all that. Really, honestly, it is women's time. It is the year of the woman. We are not, look, brothers don't get offended, but it's the year of the woman. It's the time of the woman. And guess what? I need y'all to get out there and make sure you're letting folks know that we are live and we're on the podcast app. We're on all your, of course, social media platforms, on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Look, we're on my polls, her tags, all of that, even our guests today. But listen to this. We've got to make sure that you know how to get us. One Sister to Another, of course, Instagram, One Sister to Another, Facebook. If you need us, go right there to ONESIST, the number 2, ANOTHERPR@gmail.com if you need us that way. But I need y'all to share with your family, share with your mama, share with your sister, share with your godmama, share with your gossips, share with your aunts, share with that surrogate mom, that mom that you know helped to create and help to impart some wisdoms down on the inside of you, like my guest has done for their daughters. Listen, I need you all to go tell somebody to tell somebody. Tell somebody. One Sister to Another podcast. We're here. We're here to say happy Saturday. Happy Mom's Day early. We are featuring some of our world's best moms. I call them some of Chicago's and global kept secrets, mamas all day. Look, happy Mother's Day to my team, but I'm going to introduce my because look, she bad to the bone. Y'all know what? We get to pray for each other. I'm going to tell y'all something about us, right? Because our theme this month is, Am I my sister's keeper? And I promise you, I was sharing with my Maite Johnson. She's in the room, right? I was sharing with her that Maite, I believe when God gave us this month, he was particularly thinking about One Sister to Another and our team, because we're mostly women, but we do have Big J. Come on, say hi to the people, Maite.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Mother's Day weekend. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching us on Facebook, please click, tag, and share. This is one show that you do not want to miss. Thank you for tuning in. Hello.
Wow, we're here. We're excited, and Maite and I were saying all that's went down. We know that God is gonna bless us. We're gonna get blessed on every level, on every platform today. So let's go on right ahead, y'all. Guess what? I'm so excited. Look, I love both of these leaders that we have on our platform today with their daughters, but. So I got secret girl crushes. Look, and I'm straight. I got secret girl crushes on all of the guests today. Y'all, Pastor Hal and I have been in the same rooms on different occasions, and I'm telling y'all, she bad to the doggone bone. She is Chicago. She is an educator. She is a pastor in her own right, and she leads her own. Of course, she has her own ministry. So can y'all welcome to our One Sister to Another podcast stage today, none other than Pastor Powell. She's in the room. Say hi, Pastor Powell, and introduce your girl.
Hi, it's so good to be on your show. God bless you. And I'm so glad we've been able to be in the same arena on several occasions. It's a blessing to be able to expose yourself and not know the people that are in the room so they can see how consistent you are in being who you are. So it's an awesome experience. Who I have with me today are my middle daughters, my middle daughter, Latia,
Hi, Latia.
And then my younger daughter, Latanya.
Hello.
And
Hey, Latanya.
I have an older daughter who wasn't here and wasn't able to be with us, Latoya. She's in Texas at the time, but I thank God for all of my daughters. And
Oh, great, great, great. And then, of course, my girl, look, Robinique, she go Turbo Johnson is not with us right now. She had to do some running. And Maite will introduce her daughters as well, okay? Guess what, y'all? I get the distinct privilege of hanging out today with none other than, of course, Lady Spencer, Pastor Anthony Spencer's wife. But let me tell y'all something. Somebody used to say behind every good woman. I don't say that. I say beside. She was made out of his rib. And she just recently popped some stuff off in Chicago. And myself and Mate say next year, we need to be there. We need to be there doing something. But anyway, y'all, welcome our girl, Lady Spencer. The church is One Chicago.
One Church Chicago.
One Church Chicago, right here in the city of Chicago. Pastor Anthony Spencer is her amazing husband. Can you come on in here, Lady Spencer, and share who your daughter guest is with you today?
First of all, thank you so much for even thinking of my daughter and myself to be on your show. We are honored to be a part. I have my one and only girl, Pache. I call her Sweetie Bump, but this is the only girl after Spencer clan. So yeah, this is Pache.
Wow, so you only have one daughter.
One daughter.
And how many boys?
We have 5 boys.
Shut your mouth. So Pache, I know you get treated like a triple queen. What you talking about?
That's the only thing
all day. All day. Listen, before we get this show going, because it's already going, because I just feel all of this energy in this doggone Holy Ghost filled room. Maite, you have some daughters. I want you to share. And then, of course, our executive producer is in the background, and her daughter, I believe in her, will be, of course, coming in just a bit. And of course, that is Tamara and Trayla, and we love them so. And her mom's name is, come on.
Tammy Accarelli.
You better come on here, Tammy. Come on here, Tammy. And we all love them, been knowing them all of my life. Go ahead, Maite.
Well, I have one daughter. So I have one daughter and I have a granddaughter. So I'm a good daughter too. So I celebrate my mom on today. Yeah. I celebrate my daughter. Her name is Maya. And my granddaughter's name is Mia. She's 4. And so, yeah, I'm just grateful to God for my family.
And so did I state that my mom is, of course, she doesn't live in Chicago anymore. She is in Atlanta, Georgia. But of course, that is in the love of, person of Catherine Smith. And of course, I've got 2 granddaughters as well. Actually 3. Alacia is the eldest. She's probably in her 2nd, 3rd year of college. And then I've got Serenity and Rose, and I've got Sky. So we just found out that Sky was our granddaughter about a year and a half ago. So I'm excited. Ladies, we are in this room. So I want y'all to talk to me women today about, let's talk about, so the theme for the month is, am I my sister's keeper? And I think a lot goes along with that theme, but we thought to do on the day before Mother's Day, we thought to talk about motherhood. I want you all to talk to us, Pastor Howell and Lady Sonia. Talk to us just a little bit about becoming a mom for the first time, how old you were, and then what were some of your challenges that went along with it. Come on, let's be real with the people today, because this the real show. Kicking out with you, Pastor Howell.
All right, no problem. I became a mom at the age of 23 years old. Ooh, challenges. The fact of being a first-time mom was a challenge in and of itself.
And who did you have?
That's the oldest one that's not here, Latoya. And just being, I lived in a different area than my mom. My mom was in the city of Chicago, and we were living in a place in the suburbs of Lansing. And so it was really very difficult not to have anyone to leave her with, and times that I needed to leave her with somebody to get a little break. So that was a challenge. Also, the fact that I'd never had a child. The screaming all through the night, the screaming all through the night, the different dietary needs of a child. I was working at the time for a little bit, and so that was difficult. My husband was actually working at night, and so I would have her all day, and then I would think I would get a break at the end of the day. No, and he had to go to work. So it was rough. It was rough. It was very hard at that time. But we'll get to the solution of how everything worked out and how we worked it out. But those were the biggest challenges, not being close to my mom and seeing my mom, I love my mother, Eva Lennox. My mother will be turning 95 in July. Oh, yes, I'm so grateful to still have my mom. And to see her work in a community of women. We all lived in a family building, to have my grandmother help raise us, to have my aunts and all of that around us at the time, to see it done in a community form, and then to be kind of isolated by myself, it was a mental challenge as well.
That is some rich information. Look, we need to hear it, and I think other moms need to hear it. Go ahead, Lady Sonia.
For me, I was 19 when I had my first son. I actually hid my pregnancy from my parents. I was living at home with my parents, and it's so funny because I had been having contractions the night I was going to give birth to my son. And my dad came home. He rubbed my stomach. He said, "Yeah, they say you having a baby." And I was like, "Who said that?" He said, "Yeah, they said you having a baby." So I brushed it off, right? And then that night, I went to the hospital and had my baby. So I didn't have anything for the baby. No shower, no clothes, no Pampers, no anything. But my superhero, my mom, she stepped in, and my dad, and they just, when I came home, we had everything for the baby.
Oh my God, I feel that even right now. Maite, what about you? What about you?
I was 18 when I gave birth. So I was 18. It was definitely a challenge. I feel like I missed I don't know. I was too embarrassed. I guess I was embarrassed. I didn't hide it, but I was kind of like embarrassed. You know how you go to the church and they want to shame you, for being pregnant and everything. And I don't feel like I was in a happy place being pregnant. And I think sometimes that may affect you, when you're carrying, you're not in the most happiest of places. But yeah, I was 18. I was in my second quarter of college. I just gone to college and ended up dropping out. But I mean, yeah, I'm grateful. I never knew the joy of being able to carry full term a baby until like around 2014. I met a lot of women who weren't able to conceive or carry a baby long term. You hear the term babies are a blessing. Yes, they are. But until you know the other side of people who want and pray for children and everything and aren't as blessed as, you may have been, So It was like here I was embarrassed about a blessing, So yeah.
So talk to us. It's so amazing that you would take us there. This is a great segue. And just so you all know, I was 19 when I got pregnant with my son, and I worked at the drugstore. So y'all know my mom, who I tell people she was saved, but she was the other kind of saved. Saved, tear your butt up, saved from down south. She didn't have any sisters, only raised with brothers. As a matter of fact, her Caucasian godmother raised her because my grandmother died at really in her 30s. But 19 years old, working at the drugstore, and she looks at me and she says, "But you was up there what a birth control was. Like, was you trying?" Yeah. She said, "Was you trying to get pregnant?" And I put my head down. And my mother did not talk to me for 2 full weeks. Mothers. Talk to us. Talk to our audience and talk to us in this room today about because I want your daughters to hear. Talk to us just a little bit about some of the scrutiny that comes along with it. I don't remember if everybody's babies or conceiving, you were already in church, you were already saved. I don't think any of us was, right? Or right. So talk to our daughters, and then daughters, I want y'all to talk to us about what you're kind of walking away with us sharing today that, baby, you look good today, baby. Mentally, I'm trying to make sure that you're sound. Come on, baby. At the end of the day, you don't even know half of the sacrifices, but some of y'all do know, right? I'm looking at your daughter's faces, and it looks like you all are getting this, right? But at the end of the day, I wonder if our children really know what I've gone through and what I've stood. Thank God for Jesus. Because I wasn't saved when I got pregnant with Chasten, and here I am. I think I got 3 girls and 1 boy. Here I am 4 children later. Yeah, I have to count. Go ahead. Talk to us about the scrutiny that comes along with you got pregnant. Talk to us like it's your last time, y'all. Y'all need to encourage us who are now coming into the church, so to speak. We're gonna need this, what you're saying.
Well, mine is very unique. I was married. I got married at 23.
Really?
She said, really? Yes. But I got saved at 15. So I know the dynamics of being in the church. And so they were all excited that I was pregnant. So I didn't go through that. They were excited that I had gotten pregnant. My only dilemma was I got married in December and I was pregnant by February. I mean, I hadn't, it was just like, okay, bam, here you go. And so from there, I started having my children. But the scrutiny part, I did get to walk through. I don't know if I want to call it scrutiny, but I do want to say it was kind of walking in adversity in the sense that we knew better, but it had happened. And now how do I do it? So my middle daughter, she doesn't mind me sharing. In fact, she said, Mom, it's okay if you share. She was in her, what year? You want to tell what year you were?
I was 20. I was a junior in college.
She was a junior in college. And
I got pregnant.
When she got pregnant, I didn't ask her. I didn't say you were in the store, but it was pretty much like that. I was asked her, I said, did I teach you everything that you were supposed to know about not getting pregnant? Did I miss it? Did you not comprehend? And so I had been working in ministry with women for such a long time. And the feeling you get was like, how can we do this? I'm teaching the gospel and you're pregnant.
Come on. How do we do that?
We got to go to church. What are we going to do? What are we going to say? There is a kind of a shame that comes along with it. But I want to address this part. I'm not sure if the shame is coming. In our case, we were in a very loving church. In our case, I don't know if the shame was coming from the people trying to make her ashamed, or was it shame that I knew better?
Come on. Or me.
Yeah. Or did I do right? So it was that kind of thing. And how do we handle it?
Well, I was away at college, so I wasn't home a lot. I was in Nebraska, so they only saw me a little bit. And I think my mother, she didn't we didn't hide my pregnancy, and I got big so fast. It was like
it was energized.
By the time I was 4 months, I don't know how anybody didn't know.
Yeah.
Like it was whoosh. And so the times that I was home, I think my mother did a good job of just protecting me.
Mm-hmm.
Like she said, she was in ministry for so long before that, and I didn't know better, but things happen. But I think she did a good job of protecting me, and she didn't try to make my pregnancy any less wrong than, or just like, oh well, this is a different scenario than what she's been teaching everybody else. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, oh, now that your daughter is pregnant, it's different. I got the same talk that she would have talked to any other girl in ministry if they got pregnant. It was the same. So it wasn't like she tried to make a difference now that it was her daughter.
Right.
And I think when she didn't do that, people just were like, oh, okay, it wasn't like, well, this is my daughter, she's pregnant, it's different if it was your daughter. It was none of that. So I think people just kind of embraced it as, okay,
you taught her
the same thing you told
right.
me. And so I think that helped a lot.
But I want to say this before I move on to the next person, is that it hit me like a ton of bricks. I promise you, it was devastating mentally. I was like, oh God, what am I going to do? And I did hear the Holy Spirit tell me, say, treat her the way you treated every other young woman.
Do you hear me?
I mean, that was profound for me. And I began to love and embrace her and not scrutinize her, not take her on trips. In fact, we went on a cruise and she was so big. I was like, this is my daughter. I'm not going to put her off on an island by herself, because the Bible tells us that we're subjected to those things. And it's that embrace that helps all people. That's just the way we handled it.
And so go ahead, Lady Spencer, share with us yours.
Um,
Wow.
as for me, I actually wasn't saved, wasn't in church. And so I didn't really have to deal with what the church folks would say about me being pregnant. Um, my mom, she shielded me. She, I mean, because like I said, I hid it, and the baby came. I mean, she just embraced me, and and just showed me love. And so I didn't have to really deal with that. It's so funny though. Now my husband, he was, excuse me, he was born and raised in church. Now for him, I'm not sure if it was different on his behalf because of where he was born and raised in church all his life. So I'm not sure if people scrutinize him for it. But as for me, I didn't really have to go through that. Now the funny part is, once we got married, before my daughter was born, I had like 3 children, like back to back, my last 3. And every time I would go to church, because by this time I'm saved now, going to church. When I would get pregnant, they would say, "You pregnant again?" And I'm like, "But I'm married now."
Even when you married.
So it's okay. But I mean, they really had something to say about me getting pregnant with my last 3. And I'm like, "But I'm married now." So that I thought that was kind of, funny.
So they dog us if we do right. They dog us if we do wrong.
Right.
Daughter, what do you have to add to that?
I find that to be weird. Because I would have been like, what you got to say now? Like, you probably already had. I'm pretty sure they had something to say to my father because she wasn't around, and so this was his life. You know better. You young. He was a preacher before he was a preacher, so he knew. And so I'm pretty sure he got an earful. So that was enough. Now he done took the right steps. We done got married. She done got saved. What is it to talk about now? So,
but when you all know it, that I remember them telling me at American, I was okay. The first baby came, and of course I had him. But then the second baby came, and I started at American, right? So I'm in the bellies of airplanes, pregnant with this baby, 1989 February, right? That's how long I've been at American. But do you all not know the guys? So then I got married, and I started I had 2 more babies, and like you, Lady Spencer, the guys at the job, always the guys, never the girls, come saying, "Hey, Angela, do you even know his last name?" Maite, I'm throwing that mic to you. Maite has some more. She's gonna take us further. Go ahead.
I don't know. This is really great. You know what,
It really
Angela?
is.
I wouldn't have even thought to go back this far. That's so great to really know the foundation and the background and stuff. It's just, I mean, I would have just picked up from where they are today and how amazing they are today and the amazing things that they're doing today. But yeah, this is good for people, to hear. I met Pastor Howell like 14, 15 years ago or something like that. And this is how I met her. When I met her and her daughters, I mean, you see one, you see them all. I mean, they're walking with the heels on, with the purses on and everything, and they're serving in ministry, and Pastor Howell serving in ministry, and they're serving Pastor Howell, and I just thought that was so great, just to see them, looking after, their mom and everything. And then, I mean, I really never seen anything like it, honestly, and so I watched them closely because I'm like, okay, when you have, okay, yeah, they cute, they nice, and they were so nice and loving and cute and well dressed. I mean, it's like, oh, okay. And then you see Tanya, and Tanya may be holding the purse, or Tanya may have the Bible or something, and they walking, or hold on, they may pause and fix something together. And I watched y'all. I'm telling you, very, very closely, and I just think it's so amazing. Pastor Howell, we served under the same ministry for a number of years, and I remember Pastor Howell being on a panel one time, and I thought this was pretty unique because she was talking about how she raised her daughters and some of the things that she told her daughters, which was different from things that I had heard, because, normally, you're in the church, you like stay away from boys, don't do this, don't do that. You really want your kids to be perfect because, people are looking at you, people watching you. See, I didn't watch you from that eye to critique you. I watched you from an eye like, this is really good, But can you share some of the things, Pastor Hal, that maybe you shared that day about your daughters? What did you teach your daughters? I mean, because I know that I know, Tanya, you don't have any children, correct?
No, I don't.
And so, right. And so some of the things that, what are some of the things that you taught, your girls? What are some of the things you taught in ministry?
Well, one of the things I recognized growing up, I wasn't forced to go to church. I didn't have to go. My grandmother was saved, and my mother at the time wasn't. So I wasn't forced to go to church. But I knew that our family was people that recognized God, believed in God, that influence. My grandmother had that influence. I would hear her praying. But I chose to go with my grandmother because I saw a different lifestyle in her than I saw in my mother. My mother was throwing parties and all that and having a good time. But my grandmother was different, and it was that difference that kind of drew me to her. And so when I started to go to church with her around the age of 11 and 12, at a very early age, I recognized the difference between salvation and religion. I recognized the difference between salvation and religious. And those people that were talking, they were religious. But those people that were saved were in the corners praying for you, saying, baby, it's going to be okay. You could share your secrets with them. And what I noticed is one old lady in church told me one time, because I did like to dress my girls, there were 3 of them, they were close in age, so I would dress them alike, with the little bows and everything. I was like, oh, they're so cute. Oh, look at the little ruffles and all of these things. She told me, and I think she felt she had to deliver this message to me as if it was going to deflate what I was doing with my daughters. She said, when they get older, they're going to be slipping out the basement. And I was like, slipping out of the basement windows and doing things like that. And I was like, slipping. Who's going to be going out the basement window when we have a front door and a back door? And I told her, I said, no, they won't have to slip out of the window. I'm going to teach them how to go out the front door and how to go out the back door. You don't have to hide from me. And so that kind of was the premise by which I raised them. I knew the Bible told me to train them up in the way they should go, not force them. So I taught them, by showing examples of how to go to church, how to go to Sunday school. We had fun in Sunday school, but I never forced them to be a Christian. I never forced them to be saved. They went to church with me a lot of times because they wanted to. Mom, we going? I'm like, yeah, we going. Sometimes I was tired and didn't want to go, but because they wanted to go, I was like, let's go. And I think not forcing them, people would ask me all the time, I think because they thought it was like unusual. What time was their curfew? I never gave them a curfew. I enlightened them to why they should know how to manage their time.
That's good.
I enlightened them. If you're out at 1 and 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, what you dealing with out there? Right. So I never gave them a curfew, and all through high school, they would finagle their time to the point where I said, you got it. You understand it. I remember my oldest daughter went to prom and came into the house at 10:30. I sent her back out. Get back out, go find something to do. So I taught them how to manage their time, how to manage their behavior, and not use religion as a boogeyman, kind of patrolling how you should act. And that's not really who you are. No, be who you are. Be who you are. And that way I can assess and the church can assess. We can help you become who God wants you to be. I don't want to ramble. I'm sorry.
No, you're not rambling. This is awesome.
See, and that's what I wanted you to share. That is really, really good. So, Lady Sonia, you and your sweetie mom, I love it. I love it. I love it. I've been watching you guys for years. I'm trying to think. I may have been introduced to you guys around the same time, maybe 12 years ago or something like that. I remember because I think Pasha, you around like 26 or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, our daughters are the same age. So I remember when our daughters were teenagers and stuff, and I would try to ask Lady Sonia different questions like, hey, you know. But I'll try to ask like different questions because I saw that she was doing such an amazing job, with you and everything. And so I always admired, that relationship as well. And then to learn that you guys have teamed up to do a conference. They did a conference, y'all. It's called
Yes.
Elevate Her
Yes.
last week. Can you talk to us and tell us, I mean, a little bit, just walk us through it. I know I skipped Angela was talking about when the kids was a baby. I done brought y'all back to present day. So then we just gonna come on back and meet in the middle. But can you talk about some of the things like Pastor you instilled into, Pashay growing up? Because I mean, she has grown into a beautiful young lady. I mean, I watch her too. Girl, you wear those heels. Like
Yeah.
Pastor Howland, those heels. Yeah.